Today's project is actually a collaboration between myself and 3 other YouTube quilters that are going to be a super fun project. So Sheri McGill from Lessons Learned invited me to participate in this, and what we're all going to be doing is using the same fabric, the same quilt pattern, the same everything, and only difference is our sashing colors are going to be different because we want to show off how the same pattern and same fabric and everything could look totally different just by using a different sashing color. So the fabric that was selected is the Not Your Mama's Fabric Garden by Better Tex, which was actually designed by the So Yeah brothers out in Las Vegas. So they've got these nice, beautiful colors, nice bold prints. There are some florals in there. It's a fat quarter friendly pattern. I ended up going with half yards. So I'm gonna shake it up a little bit more because half yards I can get 2 of the same out of. So I'm gonna use a little less florals, a little more blenders, and then go from there. And so my sashing color is gonna be this Kona Gotham Gray, which I think is gonna pop everything out super nice. Look at those colors all together with that gray. It's gonna be different. I'm not usually this dark of a background, but I think it's gonna look real good. So that's my hope. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do my whole quilt like I usually do, and we've got some other quilters that are gonna be having their videos also released today, so make sure you check those out. I'll put links to their profiles in the description box below, and those quilters that you'll wanna check out are Sheri from Lessons Learned, Stephanie with Quilting with Stephanie Stitches, Jamie from the Quilting Compound, and me, because you're already here. So I'm gonna get this fabric all cut out, and then we're gonna make this quilt top. So now we're at the point where I need to start making my blocks out of these 3 weird shaped things. And so normally I would just go for it, but since this has some directional flowers in it, I know it would drive me crazy if I had upside down flowers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start laying things out on the design wall. I have a starting point of where I have my different flower big pieces to go, but I need to figure out how I'm gonna spread out the other colors because they've got some orange and green ones that I need to place in specifically, and then I have some duplicates of this one that I need to place in specifically, so then it's not all clumped in one place. So I'm gonna go ahead and start laying that out and see what happens, and we'll go from there. So now that I've got my layout as good as I think it's going to get, I'm going to start taking these down. As you can see, I already took down the solid squares, and I'm going to sew the sashing strip on those and then keep everything else up here, so then I hope for the best and that it doesn't mess up. I did take pictures on my phone like I usually do, so hopefully that'll help keep things straight, and we'll get this quilt top done quick. So I've nearly got my top all pieced. I've got one more seam to sew and then my side borders, but I wanted to assure you that even if this video doesn't happen to go to quilting, Trixie is here. I know quilting and trimming up is where she shows up, but rest assured, she's here, sleeping under my table. So originally I was going to break this up into 2 videos, but I decided since we're this far in, I'm going to go ahead and quilt this quilt in this video too. So I've got this purple amethyst cuddle to go on the back, kind of inside out. So here's a little peek at the color. So I think that's going to look so good with those flowers. And I'm going to get it loaded on my long arm. I've got a really nice like loopy pantograph. It's called Cakewalk, and I'm going to use that on this, so I'm not going to overwhelm it with like more floral on there. So I think the Cakewalk is going to be a nice loopy kind of all over design that's just going to add a little bit of texture to it, and I've got a nice kind of purpley pink thread to use. So I'm going to get this all loaded and get it all quilted, and we'll be ready to bind in no time.
Well, I guess I can't put binding on yet, can I, Trixie? Are you enjoying that? Testing it out for everyone?
And we're back. Everything is bound up, ready to go, and now it's time for the patio quilt reveal. So, go figure, I set this to the side of my machine. Once I was done with it, somebody's already slept on it, so it's obviously got some cat fur sprinkled with it, but I was honestly impressed with how just the sashing made this quilt tone down so much. When I had everything all put together and all cut out, I was a little worried. I'm not a floral, crazy print kind of girl. Especially with these designs, like I steer clear of a lot of the cape, a lot of the tula. They don't make my heart sing, but this, now that it's all put together and has the Gotham gray between it, it really breaks it up, tones it down, and makes it a whole different quilt. So I don't know quite who I'm gonna give this to just yet. I may do a shout out on my Facebook to see who has fallen in love with it and wants to adopt it. And I say that because when I make my quilts, I tend to think of the person, think of what I know they would like, and since this was kind of done backwards, I don't know a person for this just yet, so maybe it'll come to me, maybe it'll just show up on somebody's doorstep, I don't know. But I'm super glad that I had this experience. It was a lot of fun to do this collaboration, and so if you haven't already, be sure to check out the other 3 quilters, and let me tell you a little bit about their channels I really enjoy. So with Stephanie, I really thought it was cool that we have a lot of the similar machines. I believe she has a Grace Longarm and a Janome, so those are both what I work with. And I thought she had a really cool video about some time-saving tricks, and some of those things I've done before, other things I'm interested to try out myself. With Sheri, I really liked how she does like a Monday. Everything just seems so like calm. Let's hang out, let's have a cup of coffee and just talk about quilting, which sometimes that's all you want to do is just talk about quilting to people who love quilting. And I thought it's cool that she has on her Friday videos, she does some viewer submissions. And then with Jamie, she was super straight to the point. She was ready to go with her projects. I love that she shared these super great tutorials and like didn't add any extra in there, didn't add any fluff like you have on like the cooking blogs or anything like that to be like, I made this recipe because it reminds me of my grandmother who was born in the mountains of Missouri. So I liked how she's just like straight, we're gonna make this quilt, this is how you make it, this is what you need, let's do this. So be sure to check out those 3 other ladies and enjoy their channel, and let's look at some pictures, and we'll see you next time.